Hey guys, this is Storm. If you have a desire to get a whole lot of seagrass, then maybe this farm is for you. It's very easy to build, very light on the redstone, and it is semi-automatic, but when you look at the high efficiency, I don't think that will bother you. So all you need to do is jump in the minecart, give it a nudge, then hold down left click, and you'll collect as much seagrass as you'll ever need. So a single set of shears will give you about 4 stacks of seagrass, and that's pretty good. So let's take a look at how to build something like this. To start off this build, we're first of all going to place a dropper in the ground facing upwards, and then a dispenser on top of this, also facing upwards. Next we're going to place some blocks on either side, make sure it's non-transparent. This is where we're going to have the seagrass growing, so it's in a 3x3 pattern, and we'll fill in these blocks. And then I'm going to add a row of dark oak planks all the way around. With that done, we need to decide which part of this farm is going to be the front. So if I want this area to be the front, I'm just going to add a temporary block in the corners so I can place an upside down stair. And then we can remove these blocks. Add 2 full blocks on top. Then we're going to join these 2 sections using slabs at the top portion of the block. And we'll add another row of slabs at the height of these stairs. Next we'll start work on the walls. So to do this I'm going to add some additional blocks in the corners out the back here, go up 4 blocks. Then I'm going to fill in this area using stained glass. Here I'm just going to use blue stained glass. On these sides we're going to go up a height of 4 blocks. Then on the rear section we'll go up a height of 3 blocks. Now with the glass in place, we're going to focus on the aesthetics of this farm. So we're going to add a section here of 4 blocks, continue with the same dark oak theme to complete that look. And then we're going to add a border using dark prismarine blocks. So go all the way up and across. And we're going to use upside down dark prismarine stairs for this top section. And then we'll do another pillar on the side. So with this size of this gap right here, water will flow out if we fill this farm with water. So we do need to put another block on top of these lower slabs just to hold back the water flow. We've got a few choices to do that. Maybe you might want to use trapdoors, or perhaps you might want to add some fence gates, leave these open or closed. I prefer to use pressure plates because it looks nice and it will also allow us to have maximum viewing area for the water. So next we're going to start to focus on where we're going to place the redstone so we can power this dispenser. I'm just going to remove this layer of dirt and grass, and then I'm just going to dig down an extra block here, and then we're going to put down some spruce planks. Now, you don't have to replace this block if you don't want to. It could be just left as dirt if you wanted to. This is where we're going to place the redstone. Then in the middle we're going to dig this one out, go across, remove this block, and you'll be able to see here is the dropper. This is where we need to put the bone meal. So on top of this we can add in the redstone dust, like so. Next we're going to connect up some hoppers. So we'll want to be able to put some bone meal into this dropper without coming underneath the farm. So I'm just going to come across, make sure they're all facing into this dropper. Just dig out a couple of blocks on the side, make this come across like so. And then we'll connect in these hoppers here as well. On top of this we can add a couple of chests. So this is where I'm going to put in some bone meal. And in fact let's grab some now. So let's grab the bone meal. That's not bone meal, but this is. And then we can place it into this chest. That's going to make the bone meal flow through these hoppers and then place it into this dropper. And then if we want, we could add some additional storage on this opposite end. We don't need any hoppers or droppers or anything around here. We can just use that for extra storage. With that in place, we can now fill up this area. So I'm just going to use some spruce planks here. Now if you don't want to fill this in, what you could do is just put down a torch, make sure no mobs spawn down there. Then we'll fill this area in. like so. Next we can add in the rails, so I'm going to use powered rails on the ends, then one block in we'll use the detector rails. This is what's going to activate the redstone, then just use regular rails to connect them. So next we're just going to fly on into this farm and then take a look on the inside. Now you can see it's not exactly even. We do have this nicely positioned, but if you're really OCD, then maybe you're annoyed by this block. But once we've placed the water down, you won't really see the color difference between these two blocks, not certainly from the outside. So what we're going to do is put down some water source blocks on this lower section. Just do two sides, and that will fill this out to be all water source blocks. The seagrass can only grow in water source blocks. And the dispenser is going to be able to reach quite far. It's 3 blocks all the way around, so it's quite efficient on the sides. On the depth, it's not quite as efficient, but we can only reach so far when you're sitting in a minecart, so there's not much we can do about that. Next, we need to put down just some temporary blocks on top of the water here. This is so we can place down some flowing water. So we're going to remove these blocks afterwards, so maybe you want to use dirt if you're building this in survival. There we go. Now let's put down a row of water source blocks at the rear of the farm. So the water is going to flow towards the player. And now we can remove these blocks. And that's it. That's the farm complete. So all we now need to do is put down a minecart, jump into survival. And what we could do, if you wanted to put some extra bone meal, you can obviously put it into this chest. If you want to use some extra storage, maybe for bone meal or seagrass, I haven't got this one connected up to the hoppers underneath, so you can just use this for regular storage. Same for the opposite side here as well, if you want to put all your collected seagrass into here. And grab your shears, jump into the minecart, give it a nudge, then hold down left click. And you'll very quickly get a whole lot of seagrass, and each time you go backwards and forwards and the cart goes over the detector rail, you'll have an opportunity to grow more seagrass. So once you've collected as much that you want, what you should do is just jump out when you're roughly around the middle, so the cart's got enough momentum to just go backwards and forwards one more time, and then it will rest on the end. Now you will have some seagrass that will collect on top of these pressure plates, but that's okay, you can easily just jump up and collect these. Not too hard to collect them. And then just like that, we've already got, look at that, almost 2.5 stacks of seagrass. And it's used about half of the shears. So it's very quick, very efficient, and it's quite a simple build. Now I'm sure there's going to be a few people that will prefer to have the seagrass collected automatically rather than going along and jumping up and collecting the seagrass that falls on this block level. Now it's easy to do that if you really wanted to. I think the design is simple enough not to have this collection system, but if you really want it, there's a few options for you. Maybe you want to do something like this. You could remove that layer of water, and then let's go down another level. So let's just remove that for the time being. Put down some supporting blocks right along here. And then on one end, we're just going to put down a water source block. So I'll put that over here. And then we can remove a section of the glass right here. So the water's going to flow to this height level. And then what we could do is put down some hoppers. Maybe you want to put it at this height level. You've got a few options here, but maybe you want to have some chests at this height. And then put hoppers on top. Doesn't look as good, but this will work. And then we can now remove this layer of dirt. So now that we've got some flowing water going to the side, we still need to replace these trapdoors or pressure plates, whatever we've placed along here, with a full block. I'm just going to put down some glass. That's because items can still land on top of these, and they can still land on the little bit of an edge that we have connected to the water here as well. We have to remove this slab. We want to be really careful and make sure we don't have any items that go crazy. So once we've done this, we can go and harvest away and see all the items go into these chests. So enjoy collecting all your seagrass. I'm sure there's many interesting things you can choose to do with it. Perhaps you can help populate the oceans with turtles. Alright, stay awesome, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers.